I've never even had to deal with an HOA.
No,
And
but the concept of it is infuriating. Hello and welcome to The Answers of Lemon, the smartest icebreakers from the dumbest dudes. Do you want to impress the landlord that's showing you their new apartment that's available? Well, take them on a tour of the world of better conversation with weird questions, and also, bonus, it'll help distract them from your bad credit. To show you how is the poorest man I know, your god of odd, Connor.
Here hoping, despite all the odds and everything that Evan has put out there, that he is the landlord actually who has just been impressed by somebody else's weird questions, and he's here to tell me that he's had some sudden windfall where he's just now a landowner who instantly decided to rent it out, maybe because it's just not to your taste.
I'm sorry, I think I'm going with another tenant, and I am your humble host, Evan.
Shoot. All right. Oh well.
Yep. I don't know. It was a tough one. I haven't done much since last recording, other than tour apartments. But more importantly than that, I'd like for us to check out some weird questions in the wild. Every Weird Question Wednesday, we reach out on social media to put a question out to you, the two listeners, and get your responses. And here's a couple of our favorites. Would you like to go first, or you want me to hop on this?
Oh, I'm taking it. I'm taking it.
He's got it.
I threw out on Reddit, you can now eat something you shouldn't be able to. What is it, and how's it taste? My favorite response was uranium, ... Made even better by the follow-up comment, dude, with a little salt, pepper, garlic.
All right. Yeah, I could see it. You'd have the most interesting poops after that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think you would run into trouble. Like, you'd need a special toilet, because you can't just put that into the sewer system. There are regular human beings down there who haven't spontaneously developed the ability to ingest uranium.
Yeah, but on the bright side, you get to save money on electricity because you don't need a nightlight in the bathroom anymore because your bowl is glowing.
That's so true. That is so true. You also don't have any friends that you can bring over to your house, but you have the coolest reason to say, sorry, you can't come over. It's because my bathroom is literally a toxic waste dump.
It is irradiated. Oh, God. That joke's not fit for others. Fun fact, I have an irradiated whetstone that I bought off of Amazon.com.
Why did you do that?
Because I didn't know it was irradiated when I bought it, and then I was just like, I forgot how to sharpen a whetstone, or use a whetstone to sharpen a knife. So I was like looking on the thing for like how to use documentation, and there was just a review that was like, yeah, I took my Geiger counter to this and it's running hot. I'm like, that's really fun. I checked with Mike. It is low enough that I don't have to be worried, and since it's like a physical thing, like I'm brushing the whetstone off of the knife, like I wash it when done, so there's no chance of me ingesting it, so we're clean. It's just all the other things that are going to give me cancer eventually.
It's crazy to find out how minute an amount of radiation we're just getting all the time, like just walking around outside, and then you remember that everyone has always talked about UV radiation, and you've always put it in a different category and not heard the radiation part. But like, people are like, oh yeah, I mean, probably less radiation than you get taking a flight across the United States. And I didn't know that measured in that category until you said that.
Yeah, I remember an old wives' tale that you weren't supposed to stare at the food in the microwave while it was cooking because it was gonna do some jazz to you. I still do it anyway. I want my dinner.
For dare, just to feel the rush. I'm willing to bet, based on how scared I am of modern microwaves, that the old wives who came up with that tale probably accurate when they had old microwaves that were young, and they were young wives, and they weren't old wives' tales. They were wise caution from people who are correctly suspicious of crazy technology.
Your language is exceptionally circuitous today.
I don't know what it is. I'm just in a mood. I think it's probably because I've been spending so much time with my hand, just wrenched up a wall of insulation. It's a very silent and very contemplative kind of thing to
your,
do. Haven't
your
been
your
talking as much.
your verbal words per minute are down. You got to pump them numbers up.
That's right. That's right.
But
I'm
other things
backed
that
up.
the other things I want to build up is a response from Angela on TikTok. I reached out and asked, Lego reached out to you and you get to commission one new set. What is it? And theirs was exceptionally pleasing to me, especially. And it was a throwback set to just basic pieces. But the bonus with it is an idea book comes with it. So it flourishes the childlike imagination without giving like the adult fear of like a blank canvas. It's like, oh, I don't know what to do with all these blocks. Like, oh, maybe I can build an airplane because it has the guide here. And like, oh wait, now that I've made an airplane, I kind of know how to make like a rocket ship. And then you get to build off until you're making fucking Mecha Godzilla. I don't know. I love it.
That is important. It's not instantly intuitive how to build things with Lego. Like when I was a kid, I was pretty bad at it. I thought
Oh,
like,
dude.
yeah, I could make it take a square and put wheels on it, and that's a car. Anything further than that, I kind of flubbed it right off the bat.
So I, as an adult, am doing pretty rough when it comes to Lego sets because I've done a couple with Leah now, um, like the follow along ones that like build like the Hocus Pocus sisters house,
Yeah.
and Leah does the completion in like 3 times as fast as I do, and she's just sitting there, and then she looks over me. I'm still at like the first part of the page, trying to put the rod into the dowel, not the dowel, into the like sphere or whatever. I'm like, yeah, just slowly, just like, give me that, and I don't blame
I
her.
I've shared a little bit of Lego time with my partner, with Alita, and I think I've got a little bit more, maybe a little bit more patience than Leah because I generally, I just let her catch up.
That's fair. We also do a watching a movie or something, and I get distracted by the movie. So that's kind
Ooh.
of that's kind of how it be. But now it's time for the most important first question of the week: day, night, time, and space. How you been, Connor?
I am still reeling from watching Crystal Fist, which is a
Dude,
kung fu movie that Evan and I enjoyed with our friends, as we regularly do,
oh,
and
may I?
it is haunting.
May I?
Yeah.
So I have started. I have started recapping all of the movies that we watch on a monthly basis in the kung fu genre. And my specific notes for this one was I thought the choreography was notably good on this one. Sam the Seed was in it. Connor had a response to this flick. 50 years after its creation, this generic movie took on a new meaning of tragedy and the cycle of violence to a modern audience. There was something about the heroes, in quotation marks, blinding and deafening people who were then known as Blind Man and Deaf Man, and then recommending to blind the deaf one and deafen the blind one that didn't sit right with him. Especially after watching how those villains made up for each other's weaknesses in their tandem fighting style. The villains did torture the main character graphically, but the main character did then go on to cripple the lackey duo, who were then fated to fight each other without end.
Yeah, yeah, that about sums it up. Yeah, yeah. They in like the final confrontation, blind man and deaf man, which is what they call each other. It's not just a mean thing that people who are fully able-bodied call them in the twisted logic of this movie. Uh, they are the blind man is deafened and deaf man is blinded, and then there's like maybe another 12 seconds tops where they recoil in pain, and then they start fighting each other, and then the scene just shifts away. So there's no end to it, which is why endless confrontation between it, just the mind-bending tragedy of being confused and having the your access to reality so brutally ripped away from you until there's no such thing as a friend anymore. It's just foe. And it's not what the movie wanted me to feel, but I feel it so strongly.
Yeah, no, like when I was looking up the reviews and stuff for it to better fill out the document that we have, all of the reviews were like, "Yeah, it's a very generic one, not the best." The blind deaf guys were kind of neat. There was no deeper appreciation of the monstrosity that was performed in front of us, except Connor. He is a benevolent, caring God. He cries when you cry.
And the main villain who had blind man and deaf man as his lackeys, totally able. But I think he just got like some scars on his face from this big confrontation with the supposed heroes like 40 years ago or something, and he's just bullying them like the whole time. And man, yeah, I anyway, that's how I've been. It's been on my mind quite a bit. I haven't let it go.
So this is for me, not our two listeners. Have you come to any new revelations in this? Any new thoughts or anything? Or has it just been like, damn?
Yeah, well, I mean the main villain being someone that blind man and deaf man would definitely have been they would have been reliant on him after they were maimed. And so that to me is the spirit of how he can push them around so much. Because in the flashback, there's no hierarchy, or at least it's not
Mm,
clearly depicted. And so the fact that he's maintained his abilities and they haven't means that he had to keep them, like, he had to help them in the years afterwards recover their capabilities and reclaim some of their martial artistry, and that he used that and like just twist the knife of remember who hurt you, remember why you're blind and deaf, and him so clearly steering them onto this path of revenge and focusing them into it when really his heart is the one that is so twisted and vile, and the kind of influence that he would have over them in making them do increasingly terrible things because they needed him, because they learned that he kept them safe and he was the person who was there for them, and like he offered security, and so he just owns them. They just can't throw off those shackles, and they somehow can still communicate with each other, which is incredibly difficult for people who don't have sight and people who don't have hearing. And the fact that they're still able to have this friendship and camaraderie, despite the fact that he's their primary go-between, yeah, like they might lose each other if he wasn't around. He's
right.
also like the linchpin holding them together as a duo. And there's so much power in that, and he, to me, very clearly abuses it in the movie in a really painful way that is just so full of pathos for me.
Damn. I knew this one affected you, but it really affected you. I
Yeah,
want to point out for our two listeners that the last one we watched, the bad guys were named Gopher, Mole, and Pangolin, and they formed together to make a rat body where one guy used his leg as like a little wiggly tail.
he had like a kicky leg at the end, and this was an unstoppable kung fu machine.
So you really get all ends of the human experience in kung fu movies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll tell you. Yeah, pangolin, mole, rat. didn't really get me. I haven't thought about them so much, but the kicky leg does live on. Kicky leg
I mean,
tail.
they also had they held their hands together and one guy jumped through the mouth like a tongue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's great.
No. Do you want to go as blind man and deaf man for Halloween?
I promise you, not okay. And I think you know that. And I think
I
that was a
do.
test, and I
It
passed.
was.
I
You
don't want to
did.
do that,
Very
but
good
I did.
job. I'm quite proud of you.
Excellent.
Uh so
Hey,
is that
so
it?
well, that's yeah. My mind's been full of kung fu
Yeah,
and
damn.
my own personal take on what's in this movie. Uh, how have you been?
I'm alive, man. I've been walking 10,000 steps a day, and that is surprisingly easy and surprisingly difficult at the same time.
Same word.
When I'm working, it's super easy because I'm like, I don't want to fucking do my job. I'm going to step. And then I'm kind of distracted while I'm doing the job, but also distracted while walking. And then when it's the weekend and I'm like, I want to be lazy. Oh, I should take some steps. And then I start walking. I'm like, man, I could be doing not this.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing about exercise. It is better than work. It is not better than chilling.
I do. I genuinely like certain exercises. Like I've actively given up my lounge time to lift weights.
Oh, are you back at that now?
No, I'm talking in the past. No, President
Ah,
Evans still has
yeah,
kind of a fucked up back.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, no, because that's the trouble. The fun exercise I want to do is gate kept by the shitty exercise that I don't want to do, which is the
Ooh,
special like strengthening, not the back building exercises.
gotcha,
So
gotcha. Hmm. Yeah, that's rough. Well, but have you gotten any benefits out of the 10,000 steps you've been doing pretty regularly?
no, not that I've noticed. If anything, like maybe I'm got a little bit more juice during the day. Um, maybe I'm willing to get out of bed a little bit earlier because I actually do just kind of start moving. Um, but no,
Okay.
nothing. It's only been a couple weeks. Oh God, it's been
All
a
right.
couple weeks. Hey, dude, time keeps moving forward.
That it do. That it do.
Jeepers creepers. I don't. What else has happened? I know there's been other stuff. Um, no shit. Oh yeah, 1,000 X resist. Yeah, 1,000 X resist. That's what else I've been doing.
What's that?
It's a video game. It's a walking simulator basically, and it is so good. It is a narrative game made by a team of Chinese Canadian immigrants or like descendant of immigrants kind of thing.
Hmm?
And it is an interesting story on existence and lineage and sexuality and leadership and uh uh giant sci-fi gods. It's pretty bitchin'. So here's the conceit. It's not a spoiler because it's the opening scene. So 1,000 years in the future, the world is composed of one lady who doesn't die and all of her clones.
Okay.
She is revered as a god. Your
She doesn't die?
character
Yeah, yeah.
stabs her through the heart, killing her.
And nobody had ever tried that before?
I can't spoil that for you, man.
Okay. All
It's
right.
so good. It's it's one of those games that it keeps happening. You're like, oh, cool, I get it now, and then a twist happens so hard your neck snaps.
It's got a lot of themes in there. I feel like you do need a lot of narrative twists and turns to fit in all of that stuff.
It's really well executed too. I like it a lot. I yesterday I got on and off Discord with Mike, who I've been playing it with 3 times because we didn't finish the chapter and I needed to finish the chapter. And then when we finished the chapter, Mike had to go. I'm like, yeah, but please, I want to keep playing. I want to know what happens. Cause shit got crazier.
I do know that feeling. I remember when I was a kid, or rather, I guess I've seen that feeling. When I was a kid, I remember my dad playing Ocarina of Time, and he would play with us so we could watch what was happening. Because like, there's story, there's
I
adventure,
love
there's all
that.
kinds of stuff.
I love
Uh,
playing games with other people like that.
yeah, it's a really good time. It really takes away a lot of the weird stigma or, that idea of like, oh, video games are something you just do alone in your room and like you're just wasting your day away. It can be so social. Even single player games can be like that.
I mean, why the fuck do you think Twitch is as big as it is?
Yeah. Yeah.
People
Anyway,
people like games and people like people. And expect
it,
people especially like watching people good at games play games that they're not good at.
yeah. Yeah, that is nice. Yeah, but he would play with us, but we had a bedtime, and sometimes he would keep going after we went to sleep, and it hurt. It hurt, and I think he knew that. He would like undo it. He wouldn't save the progress. He just wanted to know what would happen next.
Right.
Because he was hungry for it because it's a really good game, and he was really into it. And I don't think that he would have kept going if didn't really sink its teeth into him.
Yeah. Just cool. Play more video games.
Yeah, share video games with your friends.
You know what else you can share with your friends, Connor?
Popsicles, especially the ones with the two sticks. Break
Oh
them in
man,
the
that's
middle.
good. That's a good answer. I was gonna say our first weird question of the night. Number 36. If you were to get one, what would your next piercing be?
Oh, I don't have any piercings. I don't have any plans to get a piercing.
Yeah, but if you were to get one, what would it be?
Okay. All right. Mm, mm, yeah.
It's okay.
I'm
You
just
can
gonna
just
I'm
say
just gonna
Jacob's
say
Ladder. It's fine. You're
whole
allowed.
sword, one entire sword,
Where's it going?
right through the chest, in the exact same place, several times a day for several weeks until now I have the coolest party trick ever.
Okay, I was gonna ask. Did you piss off your piercing artist? I was gonna say tattoo artist.
I don't think that I did. No, I think I might have fulfilled their lives as they will fulfill mine because now I have picked up, just the very first inkling of a carny trick.
Yeah. You didn't piss them off. You had to placate them with ample amounts of alcohol and money to get them to be like, yeah, we're going to figure out a piercing routine that will allow you to keep all mobility of your body without while still skewering it with a
Hmm.
medieval weapon of death.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
That's rad. That's rad. What are you doing it for? Money or beers?
Evan, I think probably more the answer is what I'm not doing it for because not a lot of people want to be around for that. I think it on a stage, I think it's still pretty grody to watch somebody stab themselves with a sword. I'm willing to bet that I only need to do this trick once, and then everybody will give me a beer to not do it again. Oh, but
So
I guess the answer to your question is beer.
beer. Okay. So are you starting with like a epee or a rapier, and then like moving up to bra? Like, are you gonna gauge it up like a nose piercing?
Oh, no. No, I think if you get too big, then you just have a big old hole in you all the time,
then you're
and that's
then you're just dead.
probably, yeah, that's probably how you die. I think there are upper limits to how much sword you can push through your body without dying.
But it's gotta be cooler than something like a fencing sword. I feel like that's too small.
Yeah, a little bit bigger than that. A little bit bigger.
For someone who was as obsessed with swords as he was as a 10-year-old, I do not know the classifications or breakdown of bladed weapons.
Is well, I didn't know that epee had so many little things over the e's.
Yeah.
Um, I think I might be able to get away with a rapier, which is a bit
Okay.
bigger than an epee, if I'm even pronouncing that right.
Yeah, epee. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can even, and then I've got an excuse to buy a bunch of those, so that I can do the whole like and select one from my wall, please, and like here's a block of wood. See, it's sharp. Look,
Yep.
sharp. And then I
I
can I can borrow your irradiated whetstone to make sure that everything stays in tip-top condition.
So I like the idea better that since you live in the United States, you are allowed like open carry permits. So you just get an open carry permit for your sword, and if you're just like you're standing at the McDonald's, and you're getting your Big Mac or whatever, and the person's like, "Hey, what do you carry around that sword for?" And you could just turn around and go this and stab yourself in public.
I could very regularly incite riots, I think. But boy, would I get a reputation.
You
That's someone that people will know about around town.
you gotta just move. You just gotta keep moving.
I wonder if you can have open carry permits for swords.
I'm certain you can. There's no way you can't.
I mean, I
Open carry
right, you got to be like
permit
Your Honor.
sword.
Clearly, a gun is more dangerous than a sword. Wouldn't you agree? If I can carry if I can get a permit to carry my firearm around, certainly we could allow a mere rapier.
I mean, if you live in LA, open carry of swords is generally legal as long as the sword is not concealed and carried openly and not hidden in a manner that could be mistaken for a weapon, such as a cane sword or a writing pen knife. Man, but cane swords are so freaking cool.
Cane swords are wicked friggin' cool. Oh man, now I want a cane sword.
I mean, nothing's stopping you. You don't need to pierce yourself with it. You can just be a man who owns a cane sword. I aspire to be that type of man someday. Fuck, my partner's got a sword, dude.
There you go. Yeah.
Like, we're sword people. We're sword people in this house.
I kind of assumed that open carry was like harder to get than concealed carry. I kind of assumed that like you would, gun wise, you don't have open carry because it's scary to see somebody walking around with a big ass holster on their hip. So you're like, can you please just put it away? And if you need it, then that's fine. But now I'm finding out about swords that it's the opposite. That as long as everybody sees that you have a fucking sword, they're like, oh, well, whew, I don't have to worry about that cane. Who knows if that's dangerous? As long as I know you have a sword, it's okay. I just don't want to know that there are people running around who may or may not have swords.
I still like the idea of us as a society of just it's that fucking meme from Macro Meme of like life would be better if we focused more on sword fighting and being able to kill a man with a single punch. It's like
Man, that is so fucking true.
I feel like I'm sorry, gun nuts, but like guns are not as cool as swords. Like sure, they're more effective, but like that's just a big ass knife you're holding there, my man.
Yeah, and like, listen, I am definitely pro gun control. Uh, I I'm not going to say that guns aren't cool, but swords are definitely cooler. Any like almost any other way of killing people, as long as it's
Yeah, I
not,
mean,
some even improvised weapons. Sometimes, if you can just like all of a sudden turn something into a weapon, that's cool. Like broken bottle, I'd say as cool as a gun if you can make it happen in front of somebody. If you just walk around carrying a broken bottle, that's not very cool. That's trash. You should recycle that. But if you have a bottle and then now it's there, it's cool. It's as cool as a gun for the next 5 minutes.
word, word, dude. I got so distracted by your answer and us talking about swords, I forgot that I need to give an answer and write down yours.
Oh yeah, dude. What's your piercing?
It's so lame. It's so fuck. It's not a sword. It's just fucking lame. It doesn't fucking matter.
It
It's
does
an eyebrow
matter. Hey man,
piercing. It's an eyebrow
cool.
piercing. It's
Hey, that's cool,
specifically
man.
one of the ones that's got like the spikes on the ends, not the balls, but it's the spikes. Because I remember that Robin from the Automatic, who was the lead singer and played bass and kind of looked like me, and that I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be Music Man someday. He had an eyebrow piercing. Like, I'm gonna do that if I ever get a piercing. Then I never did, and now I'm like, I'm too old. I know I'm not, but I'm like, I'm too old.
You could definitely rock an eyebrow piercing, no doubt. You could
It's
get
because I'm
one
emo.
next week, and I would say, no, that's a natural progression of look for him.
It's I'm an emo boy.
Yeah, live
Yeah,
your truth,
no,
man. You
I
could
just
you could absolutely do it. I don't know if that's just an old like if I was ever going to because I when I was a kid for whatever reason I thought maybe I'd get a belly button piercing one day. It just seemed like I don't know free real estate,
yeah.
not using it for anything else. It got like a little tiny cubby right there on my tummy, and I could be keeping a diamond inside of it. So maybe a belly button piercing. But you could absolutely get your eyebrow pierced.
And I could, I maybe can I get? I wonder if I can get like a little piercing where it's just like, like one of those like cocktail cherry swords. Just have that sticking through there.
Dude, that would be so cool. I that would be awesome. If
I
you could
can't
get
come
a
up with like
medical
a joke.
grade cocktail sword,
Yep.
man, that would be cool as hell.
Just a little like cavalry saber with the pommel guard.
Mm-hmm.
Zoop. Yeah.
Easily the best garnish to put into your eyebrow.
Yeah. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. Man, I'm putting down bar sword cherry eyebrow piercing. Man, my brain is shot today, guys. What's going on?
Yeah, you're moving a little slow. Little
I am.
processing
I
speed,
am.
not what it usually is.
Yeah, but on the bright side, we get to go to a new question. Oh, this is a great question. 81. What's something you just don't give a shit about? I'm awake now. So much.
All right, man, follow that energy. You tell me, what's something you just don't give a shit about?
Oh man, I don't give a shit about a lot of stuff. What is the thing that I don't give a shit about in this moment? Excuse me while I take a long drink of water.
I was hoping you were going to make the ah sound after your drink of water.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Nice. It was all involuntary. I love that.
Nice.
I don't give a shit about basketball. I think it's a boring fucking sport. There's just nothing appealing about it to me. Like I'm not a sports guy to begin with. And I will watch every other sport. And basketball is a nah. It is a big nah for me. I just don't care. The camera angles always make these giant men look even more giant. It's just they just kind of squeak all the fucking time and go back and forth. And the action is so boring. There's nothing appealing about draining a ball into a hoop. When you fucking kick a soccer ball, that thing is going across a fucking giant field, not just a little fucking court. In football, you got 30,000 guys all jumping on each other with concussions. Like, it is a miracle that they make it forward, let alone into the end zone. Hockey's just the best sport, so that one's just fun to watch, I will give you. Baseball,
Baseball?
oh, how do you score a run? You fucking hit the shit out of that ball. Basketball, you just go whoop. And then they're all pansies and get fucking touched, and they're like, oh man, oh no, no, oh no, oh. I watch fucking dudes in hockey lose teeth, give each other a handshake, and then keep skating. Basketball sucks. I just don't give a shit about it. And it's so fucking popular. And so much of my family likes it and actively plays it and referees it. I'm just like, I don't care. It's boring.
I hear you, man. Listen, I'm not a big basketball guy myself. I went to Villanova, which every time I say that to somebody, they either go, "Oh, okay," or they go, "Oh, you must like basketball." And no, man, no, I do not. No, sir. I did show up for a screening of them winning the big March Madness championship that one time, and that was cool, just because of all the energy in the room.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I have a tough time. I have a tough time.
I will watch the women's basketball at my alma mater with my uncle. That's slightly more interesting.
I think
But on the TV, fuck that.
probably I think basketball is popular because it's an approachable sport to play. Like
Yeah.
baseball, in my opinion, very difficult sport. Really hard. Like softball, I think is the reason softball exists is because people have a hard time with baseball because it's
Slower
the
pass,
hardest
fast
thing.
pitch.
What's that?
Slower fast pitch softball, because those are entirely different.
Maybe fast pitch softball exists because baseball is hard, and slow pitch softball exists because fast pitch softball is hard.
dude, 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 I have watched women's fast pitch softball. That shit ain't easy. They
I'm
are
not saying
fucking whipping that thing.
definitely not saying easy. I am assuming bigger ball, easier to hit. Is that fair?
Based on logic, I would say, but I'm not a smart man.
So, and if that were true for basketball, there'd be big hoop basketball, where it's like 8 feet wide, where you don't have to work so hard about it. But it's like basketball, and I don't play any sport. End of sentence. They're all hard for me. You all impress me. But if basketball were so hard that the average person couldn't get a couple of points, we'd have big hoop for casual play. But we don't.
That's a sick fucking burn, dude.
It wasn't intended to be, but yeah, it kind of is, isn't it?
Yeah, no, you were trying to be a gentle psychologist, and you're like, hey, you fucking losers. You're baby sport. There is no easy mode for you. Fucking bowling has bumpers.
There is high hoop and low hoop. That's true.
I feel like that just benefits shorter people, man.
Children generally, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, because that's the other thing. Like, that's exclusionary. All the other sports, yeah, you just need to either get the gear or something. Like, do you want to be good at basketball? Grow, get tall.
I'll tell you, being tall is probably good for a lot of sports.
I'm also being really insensitive to point guards who can be like fucking 5'5" and still crush shit. Like, again, I too bad at sports. I'm talking shit. I totally expect to get hit on this one. I own it. I own it.
But you're allowed because there are a lot of things that all of us just don't give a shit about, and it's okay for you to go a little bit heavy on that side. And everybody, this is just one of those things for Evan.
Yeah. What is yours in this moment?
Before I get there, I do want to take a pause and say it might be time to retire pansies from your vocabulary.
Is it not a cool word?
I've caught some criticism for using it before, and I think it has been used slanderously against gay men.
Oh, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll try to be more cognizant of that. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Thank you for keeping me honest, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. My answer is when the fuck you put your garbage bins out and when you take them back in. I to the extent that I care at all, I'm happy if everybody gets a 48-hour grace period before the garbage bins go out and when they take them back in. If you even feel the need to take them away from the curb. But that's one of the things about just the concept of an HOA that chaps my ass so severely. That's one of the things that they'll make rules about
HOAs,
what time you can put them out and when you have to bring them back in.
I give a shit about HOAs. It is a lot of anger towards those MFers.
I know. That's I've never even had to deal with an HOA.
No, but the concept of it is infuriating.
It burns me from a distance for all the people of the nation.
I'm sorry, Deborah, that your life is so fucking boring that you need to ruin all of ours because we don't have this freaking Stepford wife looking home. Like, I want to have a weird plant in my front yard. I want to hang icicles in July because Christmas in July. Fuck you. Like, why are you dictating what I cannot and cannot do with my property, and I have to pay you money for you to yell at me?
Yeah, I don't have any political ambitions, but all of them are wrapped up inside the concept of if I accidentally move into an HOA neighborhood, I will join the HOA. I will campaign like a motherfucker to get onto the HOA board so I can burn it to the ground from the inside. I will
I
take away
guess.
all of their power. I will delegislate everything. The only thing that HOA will be good for is coordinating with like public utilities and telling everybody to sit down when they're getting too uppity about what their neighbor's lawn is supposed to look like.
Part of the fucking money goes to just a big block party for the people in your HOA every summer.
Yeah, yeah, and that's just because we've accumulated too much money for the last 20 years, and now we've just got to slowly burn it via block party.
What tunes you bumping?
The best tunes, top tunes.
All right, all right.
But
So yeah,
I don't
moving the
give a
garbage
shit
can.
about
Sorry. We
bins.
got heated about stuff we do give a shit about.
But I just don't give a shit about when the bins go out. Uh, and everybody seems to have some notion. It's one of those keeping up with the Joneses things that,
Yeah.
man, I don't want to have to haul them all that much. Like, if you want to bring them in from the street to make the front of your house look a little nicer, that's fine. And if you forget to do that, or like you just don't have enough energy this week, I don't care, person down the block. I just don't give a shit. It's totally fine. Please just, if you feel any pressure from people around you looking at your house going, no, no, it's not really, they didn't really bring in the bins. Oh, there's trash in there. Just know I give an anti shit. And hopefully that will balance out any pressure you feel from other judgmental folks.
I see where you're at, and this is really interesting because my experience has and has to have been different than yours. So living on a city sidewalk, like we can't leave the bins out in the pathway of pedestrians.
That's
So
fair.
the thing for me is I don't like it's not the when that I care about, it's the fact that others do it. Because I live in a duplex and I take it out every week. And often Leah brings it in every week. It's like, "Hey, where's your part of it? Where's your part of it, bud? You live here too? Why aren't you helping us out?" There are times that we just left it and they never returned the favor. It's like, "Oh, cool. Cool. Thanks, bro. Oh, but you'll take your shit out when you've got too much trash, but you won't bring it all in." And I say this, they bring it in. But I was worried for a while there. I was like, "Come on, it's just being neighborly. Just be neighborly." Because the other thing was like for me, when I first moved in here, I left him down because I, like you, was like, I don't want to move him too far. I left him down by our door, right by the sidewalk. And then they kept getting moved. I'm like, "Oh, so they got to be far away. That's fine by me. If we're all carrying our weight."
Eyes on you, neighbor.
What? What? Yeah, man.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm
There's a
at.
lot.
Oh, and I also don't give a shit about people putting trash in my trash bin when it's outside on the curb. That's where the trash goes, in my trash bin. If you have some trash and my trash bin is out, go ahead and put some trash in there. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. That one bugs Leah more than me. But, I mean, it's better than the ground. It's better than the ground.
I walk around sometimes, I got a little trash in my hand. I'd rather just put it in a bin.
So, amusingly enough, our next question is tangentially related. So, Connor, you said that you have no political ambitions. Well, you fucking lied to me because
Oh,
congratulations on your political nomination. What
oh,
tune are you blasting to open your rally? The best
once
tunes,
in a
Connor?
lifetime.
Give me a fucking specific, my dude.
Once in a lifetime by the Talking Heads because I don't know how I got here. This is not my beautiful wife. This is not my beautiful house. And I'm never going to do this again. This is happening one time that I've been nominated.
Okay.
I'm so
Now,
confused. I'm so confused by all of this that's happened. I assume that this has been the tenor of my campaign up to this point of I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know why everybody wants me to do this, but I've been nominated. I will continue to go forward and I'll answer the questions that you need me to. I will show up at the rallies that you need me to talk about. I'll give my opinions. And I guess that's what you want. Is that enough? Is that politics? I don't know.
I don't either. Now is it one of the dancier tunes, or like what's the vibe? Are you actually like pumping people up with your energy, or is it just a as confused sounding a song as you are a person?
Yeah, the general emotional tenor of my I have just won this is gonna be disbelief. That's the emotion that I want spread throughout the audience. Uh,
Yeah,
it must have gotten started as a joke, right? Like somebody wrote me in, but somehow I managed to like bumble my way into success. Or maybe
just
just
enough write-in ballots.
everybody else like got convicted of a crime right before the
Yep.
election, which in a world that works right disqualifies you for the record. And I think, yeah, I just want everybody to feel off kilter and confused and like this can't possibly be the outcome of how this worked out. I will call for a recount of the votes because it is
Yeah.
so baffling to me in this position.
Word. So is that how Once in a Lifetime by the Talking Heads sounds? Because I don't know if I was clear in asking that, because that was the question I
Ah,
asked you.
oh, gotcha. Yeah. And as the days go by, same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. No, that doesn't sound familiar.
I don't listen to the Talking Heads.
Oh, wow, it's a pretty popular tune. It's out there. It's in the cultural mix.
Oh, okay.
Check it out. Good song.
Yeah, sure.
Weird music video. If you can find a live performance, that's when the Talking Heads are at their best.
Cool. I watched a video of them dancing because you told me to, and it was entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. I just want everybody to feel kind of unsettled and like the rails have come off. The Falcon will not answer to the Falconer.
I like that. Wow, that's a great turn of phrase.
As from a poem.
You and your quotations, my dude. You've always
I
got one.
want to say James Joyce. Could have been William Butler Yeats.
Yeah, poetry's another thing I don't really give a shit about.
You know, normally I don't either, but this was a pretty good one.
I give a shit about Rupi Kaur's poetry because it's so fucking bad.
Oh, I don't know who that is. Do you have like did you memorize one of the poems out of hatred, just out
Oh
of
no,
spite?
no, no! I can write any fucking Rupi Kaur poem off the top of my head. My vagina is a flower. Come eat it.
Rupi Kaur. Let's see. Canadian poet and illustrator, says Google. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm all about people expressing themselves. And if you want to get into your sexuality, that's cool too. But like, there is a point where you
But it's
got to put
bad.
some
It's bad.
creativity
It's
into it.
bad. It's just bad.
Yeah,
It's not good.
it's still got to be poetry. You still have
There
to
can
make
be
it
there
poetry.
can be craft, artistry, skill. None of it isn't here. Like kudos to
How
her.
did you
She's fucking published and shit. I'm not. So like fuck me. But it's not good. It's not
how
good.
did you run afoul of Rupi Kaur?
Leah.
Is Leah a fan and you
No, no, no. She's
disagree?
like, what the fuck? Everyone's buying this shitty books. I'm like, what the fuck is it? And I looked it up. I'm like, this is awful. So yeah,
Okay.
those who can't do teach, and those who can't teach criticize. So I recognize, but also it's just bad. So like, I don't know what else there is to say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that sophisticated in the world of poetry. Mostly I like the rhyming ones. That's kind of where I'm at. I love Edgar Allan Poe. He made them rhyme real good. They're really good. They rhyme very well. And I like that.
Cool, cool. My rally's gonna open with Mega Guillotine by AJJ.
That is an interesting approach.
Yeah,
And can you so this is not a song that I would expect pop culturally to be relevant. Can you explain a little bit about this song?
Mega Guillotine, we love you. Mega Guillotine, we're voting for you. Yeah,
That does sum it up pretty well. Okay,
yeah.
all right. And why, tell me, are you going with uh, "Kill the Powerful" as your proclamation of success?
Because I think it's what AJJ would want. And I don't see anyone else doing that given the opportunity.
That's so very true. That is
And then
so very true.
this way I would get to meet Sean Bonnet and all the other members of AJJ and be like, "Hey, my friends have your bumper sticker." It's a long con for me to meet AJJ.
I think you're probably right about that. I do think that they would find you and they would want to talk to you about it. Can you imagine if AJJ saw a headline of like local mayor elect played very controversially mega guillotine at his success rally?
Entire speech was just candidate reciting the lyrics to "People Who Can Eat People Are the Luckiest People" in album order.
Do you have a sense of what you've been running on? Like, uh, have you been
Oh
upfront
yeah,
about like,
yeah.
oh, I really like
Oh
AJJ?
no, it's that I can go off the deep end. I can kill all my best friends. I can follow those stylish trends. God knows, Connor, I could make amends. But I have an angry heart.
Filled with cancer and
Poppy
puppy darts.
hearts. This is how you folks make art. Well, that's fucking depressing. And it's sad to know. They're doing an East Coast tour and they're not coming to Massachusetts, so I'm grumpy.
Well, I mean, run for mayor about it. They'll probably find you.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they're mobile, they're moving around. They
They're
might schedule something in
They're
Massachusetts.
politically active. Yeah.
And so would you just let them kind of would you step aside and say like, actually, you didn't really elect me. You've elected AJJ, and now they're going to take on this political position. Thank you all very much. I'm glad that you have appreciated this little political experiment.
I think that's a great way for me to step down out of a position that I am wholly unfit for and at least put it with someone else.
If anything can be said about the democratic process, I think that just by virtue of being elected to a position, you are now fit for it. It doesn't mean you'll do a good job, but it does mean that this is now your responsibility.
Oh God, what a sobering thought. I'm going to move on to our last question for the night so we don't have to stew on that one too long. And we're going to
Yeah.
number 48. Let's find out what 48 is, Connor. What band has zero right being as good as they are? So this isn't this doesn't fit the question letter wise because he's an artist, not a band. But I was actually going to tell you before the podcast. I've been listening to a lot of Tom Cardy lately.
Have
Incredibly talented musician.
I think I remember, and it would probably take me several hours, but I think I could find a recording of this podcast wherein you criticized how much Tom Cardy had been listening to, probably because it was the second week in a row I'd given an answer about Tom Cardy. And what brought you around on the Tom Cardy train?
The Ballad of Smoke and Joe Rude Boy. I never disliked Tom Cardy.
Mhm.
I just didn't see the hype. Because my relations to him were. This isn't my answer, by the way. Because he totally has every right to be as good as he is.
Oh, okay, cool.
Like on the surface, you would like you said, like comedy musician, you wouldn't think no every fucking right. Incredibly talented individual. No, I have a little bit of beef with Tom Cardy because you just kept playing his fucking shit at your bachelor party, and I was so fucking tired. It was
Mm,
just the night of YouTube videos, and then there was just so much. I'm just like, Noel, I want to go to bed.
I can see why that
So
might leave things a little sour for you.
so
Yeah,
so, so
yeah.
that also might be why your interpretation of my appreciation was a little bit lower. But no, I've always been a
Mhm.
huge fan of Big Breakfast.
Big
That was
Breakfast is so
the
good.
first one I heard. But yeah, no, the Ballad of Smoke and Joe Rude Boy is that fucking song has made me appreciate crafting music in a way that others haven't.
How so?
Just the different layers, just the way that he layers different instrumentation, different vocal stylings, different even voices, singers. Like, I know it's telling a story, but just the way that the song builds throughout it, like every bit feels distinct but purposeful. It's And there's just like little bits that he does in his songs that you hear for like half a stanza and that's it. And he didn't fucking need to do that, but it really elevates it to a new level. So that one. And I also listened to the Artificial Intelligence song for the first time. And that hit like
Oh
old
yeah.
Daft Punk in a way that I did not feel since I was like 14 listening to Discovery for the first time. I might have cried. I don't remember. I was too busy being happy.
I'm glad to hear you say that because I've suspected, and I think I've told you before that I think Tom Cardy puts way more effort into what would otherwise be a pretty stupid throwaway song,
Yep.
but he seems to put in so much time and care into crafting the lyrics, into making a specific impression. But I don't know enough about music, or like I don't have the same ability to read what about it is so good. I just kind of thought it was working out that way, and just like the overall product that he makes around, hey, I know it would be a fun thing instead of a Wild West gunslinger. What if it was somebody who just flipped other people off really fast? And that's the Ballad of Smoking
Smoking
Joe
Joe
Rude
Rude
Boy,
Boy.
Smoking Joe Rude Boy. And yeah, just so much more time and effort, but it becomes something so much greater than it would have been otherwise.
Yeah.
And now I respect your ability to read music a lot better. So
Yeah,
knowing that
no,
that's all around true. Awesome.
if you want to take the time, like off podcast, you and me just sit down and we geek together over shit, I'm down to do that, but that would be incredibly boring for our listeners, and I don't want to do that to them. So to appease our two listeners, I would like to answer the Bloodhound Gang. They have zero fucking right
Oh
being as good
man,
as
that
they
is
are.
so true. That's a good answer. God, I hate how much I like that band.
I am unabashed. Like, if they fucking were ever to tour again, I would go. Like, they I hate how much I like their music. They are so incredibly talented for some of the shittiest music you've ever heard. Like
So, like
it
about half of each of their albums that I've listened to has either disgusted me or repulsed me or made me
Yep.
think, oh God, like it just makes me feel slimy to even listen to it. And then the other half of the album is brilliant and just so delightful, just so much fun to listen to.
Yeah,
It's got so much abandon. They just really go for whatever they're after. And sometimes it's awful, and other times it's great.
like they revel in making the smartest, most clever fucking way to say the grossest, most awful thing. Like, they want to offend you with their lyrics, but they want to be fucking Shakespearean as they do it,
Yeah.
and they succeed. They fucking succeed. And I still think about how we were introduced to them in high school, And as a 30 some odd year old man, I'm still throwing on fucking take the long way home,
Take the Long Way Home is so
like,
good.
and just like,
Life is
or
an aimless ride that you take alone.
I
Might as
hope
well
you
enjoy the
die.
ride.
The whole fucking song is just this insane Rube Goldberg machine of moving parts and shit about how you flipped a guy off on the road and now you've been killed because of the guard killing you in the fucking jail or whatever. It's insane. It's insane. And the fact that they can balance that, like, conceptually, the lyricism. We've only talked about the lyrics at this point. They do so many different genres of sound too. Fucking punk rock. They do a wonderful cover of Along Comes Mary. Punk rock,
do,
fucking
yeah.
new metal, rap. I love. I don't remember what album it is, but the one where Jimmy Pop just fucking is like, I like Eurobeat, and then does the best fucking club bangers about wanting to get his dick sucked. It's incredible. It's incredible. It makes me so mad. I love it. I will listen to them on and off, likely until I die. And they no right to be as good as they are.
Simultaneously, I think the band is trying to challenge you to tolerate their music because it's so difficult to listen to, while simultaneously also challenging you not to enjoy yourself while you're doing it.
It's just something else. Like it is pride and shame simultaneously. Like, yeah, I'm a Bloodhound Gang fan.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I kind of wish I wasn't. I wish I was a better person almost. Like, I wish I was too. I wish that there was something more pure about me that would prevent me from enjoying this band. But there isn't. I'm just as gross as they are in a way.
Vulcanize the whoopee stick in the ham wallet. Like, fuck you. What the fuck? You made an entire song that is 33 fucking euphemisms for sex that no one has ever used before. How does your brain work like that? And then how do you make just saying the words Foxtrot Uniform Charlie Kilo so catchy?
My answer for this is kind of similar,
Yeah.
for similar reasons. It's
Please.
mindless self-indulgence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just another gross, skeevy band that writes music that is sometimes like mandatorily skipped. I can't listen to most of their albums 100% of the way through. Some songs
Yep.
I just cannot get through. But I skip those and I get to these awesome songs that I really, really enjoy.
Yeah, it's, oh my god, like, I like one of my favorite songs of theirs is just, it's titled The F Slur. Like, I hate that. The song is so good, but it's so bad. And like, I understand that that one was written in a time that was different than is now. But yeah, no, I totally get that. And it's one of those awful things with like the allegations against Jimmy Urine of just like that aspect of it gets kind of worse and weird. But yeah. It's funny that you mentioned MSI, because those were two bands that I put on my radio playlist that I played on air at my college radio, where the theme was songs that shouldn't be like able to play on the radio, but you can. I think it was Unexpectedly Clean Songs. And it was The Inevitable Return of the Great White Dope by the Bloodhound Gang and Casio by Mindless Self-Indulgence. Great tunes. I fucking love Casio so much. There's something about that man just shrieking, "Say, hey!" It's so good. It's so good. Turn off the video. Lock all the windows. Pull down your pantyhose. CASIO. It's so good. It's so fun. Do I just like crass dancey songs? Is that my steez?
Maybe that's the secret. Yeah, maybe that's what's really bringing you in.
Do you have anything more to say about MSI? I understand that we've been talking about music, which really just unlocks the part of me on this podcast that just begins to scream and never stops. I apologize for that facet of me. I cannot change it.
No need to apologize. No, I think that kind of wraps that. I think that kind of wraps up my feelings about mindless self-indulgence. I wish I didn't like them, but I do.
So one of my favorite memories for college was senior year, moving in with my roommates, and I had made a playlist that was all of the songs that we like really got into over the course of living together for the past 4 years. And as we were moving stuff in, "Ice Cream" by Mindless Self-Indulgence came on, and Mike's family was around, and Mike's family is quite buttoned up in comparison with everything about me as a human being. Oh, it's not Ice Cream, it's All in Mode. That's what the song was called. And how it worked out was the song turned on, and it was, "I like my girls like my women, and my women like my girls." Click. Just moved along. They didn't need to hear any of the rest of that song. Changed it on beat and everything. I was very proud of myself. I looked over and Mike was just laughing.
Yeah, that one gets pretty raunchy pretty quick.
Oh, very fast.
Sure
very
does.
fast. No, that's not what good Catholic boys are listening to. Well, surprise, I'm a bad Catholic boy.
Listen, man, we're all bad Catholic boys. You're not supposed to be good at it. I think, in some ways, that's kind of the point, isn't it?
It is. I would say it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's okay. That's okay. I think that's like one of the big church teachings that I feel people don't stick around to soak in. They hear the like, "Hey, everyone's a sinner," and then they're like, "No, well, I guess I'll just feel bad about myself forever." But the second half of that sentence is, and it's okay. Like, we all make mistakes. No one is perfect. We're all going to do things that aren't what we're all going to do things we're not supposed to. So just like appreciate that about you and your fellow human being. You, like they, make mistakes. Be humble.
Yeah. So, one more thing about music. So before she was a big old indie sad girl superstar, Julian Baker was part of a band called the Star Killers, and the last song on their album American Blues is about that concept. And the lyrics of the song is basically like a prayer to God, where she's asking, like, you know, will I ever be good? Will I ever be good enough for you? And God said no. That's why you have me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was one of those of like, wow, this child just really hit my faith with a deeper understanding than I had. Good for her. Thank you for teaching me something, Julian. Because she was, fucking young when that album came out.
That's what art's for, in a lot of ways. Not the only thing. Art's for a lot of things, but one of it is like
being
just
crass and
encapsulating
dancing.
the experience you already have.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the experience that you've had is listening to the entire podcast. You didn't need to make it this far, but you did, and we appreciate it. If you want to help out your boys, give a 5-star rating on your podcast listening avenue of choice and share it with your friends, please. We do really need your help. We don't know how to be able to get other people to listen to us because we're dumb and old, so we need you. If you want to hang out with us online, you can check out any of our social medias. We're on all the cool ones at...
The answer's a lemon.
The answer is a lemon. If you would like to reach your God of Odd directly, you can find him or your humble host at the email account
lemonanswers@gmail.com.
lemonanswers@gmail.com. You can ask us questions, tell us your answers, send a note. As long as you're cool, that's all we care about. That's it. Love you, bye.
Bye.